Hello, friends. I am back. Sorry for the 2-day hiatus. Most YouTubers, of course, are gone for like 6 days in a row and only upload once a week. I try to upload every single day, and yet we're still tremendously censored. That's one thing I'm going to show you in today's video. But the reason I was gone is because I just turned 24, and for the last 2 days I've been away from my apartment celebrating. So I am back, and there's so much that's happened in the last 2 days that today's video we're going to be covering a lot of things that have happened. One is that the left is not really at all popular. It is more a psychological contagion that's been propped up through funneling US tax dollars. I'd say this is probably the central pillar of much of what we've been seeing proven to us the last several days. The left is now so defeated that they're calling for violence against Elon and the president, Trump. Joy Reid's show has been canceled. I'll talk about that too. There's so much happening. First and foremost, this appearance by Elon Musk at CPAC has drawn a lot of criticism from people even on the right. I notably Tim Dillon, who is definitely within the zeitgeist of being based, said that it was cringe, said that it wasn't the right move. I couldn't disagree more. Elon Musk does stand for what MAGA is, because what MAGA is, what conservatism is today, is an embracing of objective reality. This isn't what conservatism used to be. There is a new brand of conservatism which people older than 30 may not totally understand. For me, it's intuitive because I was born in the 2000s. And it just made sense that if you're going to care about reason or rationality or individuality, you're going to find yourself inevitably on the right because all the public intellectuals, all the impressive men, everyone engaging in that framework is already just finding themselves basically excluded from the left. If you're going to support free speech, if you're going to have these basic tenets, and you're not going to be on the left because the left has purified themselves of its thinkers. This is really the central element. This is the shifting pole that has taken us from the two political parties and really is now convalescing around a single singularity, a single point, which is to the exclusion of every person that wants to detest objective frameworks, hate coherence itself, find themselves resentful of truth. I'm talking about those that are possessed by the Marxist ideology, obviously, the people that similarly can't stand masculinity. I've delineated this in several of my videos. But the right now is the party of reality. It's the party of realizing that every person has individual sovereignty, a divine spark, deserving of liberty, deserving of living in a country that is not corrupt, that doesn't spend their tax dollars on insane NGOs to prop up anti-human ideologues and fund protests. It's now pretty much obvious that every protest that has been against humanity has been funded by these insane woke people. And it's not a surprise considering how openly anti-human they are. But this is new because it used to be both sides that acknowledged that every human had divine worth, that every human was deserving of free speech, that reason took primacy over insanities and rejections of reason. But now that's not the case. And this is why I say we're orbiting a single singularity. The singularity revolves around currently the embodiments of reality. And I've talked about this in several videos, and this is what Tim Dillon missed in his most recent episode, which is that the most impressive men of Earth are the greatest embodiments of reality because masculinity is an apparatus for embodying reality, most technically speaking. That's how we built civilization. And so it makes perfect sense that Elon Musk is at the central movement of MAGA, the movement of returning, not just returning, saving humanity from the void of despair, resentment, nihilism, anti humanity doctrine and a total rejection of coherence out of just feminine spite. Speaking of feminine spite, Joy Reid's show has just been canceled because she's openly racist. This woman's just openly racist on MSNBC for years and years and years. And then we have Kamala Harris receiving an award for being a black woman and losing to an ultra competent man. The left has purified itself through its ideological indoctrination into people that can no longer think, have been robbed of their cognitive faculties. And it's actually true. It's interesting that when somebody practices not learning for long enough, the neural pathways disappear, they atrophy, and the brain literally shrinks. Leftists have shrunken brains. In this video here, happened literally hours ago, a anti-human, unserious, utterly pathetic. This is not normal behavior. This is not, well, I should say, this is not behavior of a person. Look at this. Look, Patrick Bet-David basically didn't even notice the guy tried to spit on him, gave him an opportunity to contend with him, but the spit actually landed on an agent in a black suit, and so this guy was immediately manhandled and arrested. But these people, this push through activism for the left is especially disturbing because it's devoid of mental seriousness, it's devoid of morality, it's devoid of any connection to objective reality and society. It is only driven through the conviction that they are superior to everybody else as a result of adhering to their ideology. And there's just a total disconnection from reality that's made possible by their brains being atrophied. There's no more neural pathways that have been built up through engaging in dialogue and listening to people who disagree with them and considering that, of course, there might be something that they can learn from people who disagree with them. And these neural pathways have been atrophied as a result of believing that they're superior to reality. It's the ultimate form of narcissism. It's the ultimate form of psychopathology. But this is all that the left is now. It's the only thing they have left. Obviously, we've beaten them, we've destroyed them. But the psychopathology of the left is as intrinsic to humanity as evil, because it most technically is evil. The corruption is being exposed endlessly. What's disturbing is that rather than admit that they did any of this, the left is blaming. Think of it. The left is blaming Elon Musk for ending and exposing objective corruption, overt objective corruption, sending hundreds of billions of dollars to Ukraine, most of which is unaccounted for. And we've discovered that the money's just been funneled into the hands of people who have been buying property in France. This is not something a human would defend, unless, of course, you're on the left and believe you're superior. This is who they are. But an entire generation of people have had their cognitive faculties wiped out from them, where they can't acknowledge that what's going on is good. Most people do acknowledge what's going on is good, though. If you find yourself on the left and unable to engage in reality, especially possessed by a degenerately feminine psychopathology and destructive personality or spirit, then you can't admit that what's going on is good. You're chained like some sort of animal to this sinking ship of destitution and cognitive bankruptcy. The governor of Maine wants to defy Trump's orders to let men compete against women, a position that the vast majority, the supermajority of Americans find detestable, heinous, and grotesque. To have men compete against women, most Americans do not support that. That's very obvious. I believe this statistic is around 78%, although it could have gone higher in the last couple months, considering the return to sanity. Donald Trump has all 50 American governors giving him a standing ovation. The left is in shambles. Gay men are attempting to buy infants and succeeding. This is not good. This should not be allowed. You cannot buy infants. If you choose to live a life that results in you not biologically being able to have kids, then there's no obligation for society to give you kids. That's just a fact. There is no right to have kids in the Constitution. There's no right to have kids that is held self-evident among this society. Buying kids, in fact, I think is inhuman and should not be allowed. Something I should mention as well, by the way, is that we have a new FBI director. Everything's being purged. The left is being purged. This is really what I mean when I say the left can't accept that what's going on is good, because what's being purged is objective corruption and mismanagement. So they're admitting that they're for objective mismanagement and corruption and abuse and negligence, and that they've actually been propped up by that in their defense of those things. So the government has, until recently, been propping up the ideological left. And that makes sense considering that it's so unpopular, that it's so inhuman, that it's so antithetical to reason and the functioning human psyche that's healthy. Something strange has been going on with my channel. This is really strange. I'm just going to break it down for you guys. In the last several weeks, we've not gained subscribers, we've lost 6 subscribers. And the channel views have been down significantly. That's unusual because it's never happened in the lifetime of the channel. The channel has only been increasing in views and subscribers every single week of every single month that I've been doing this. And I've been doing this for about 2 years now. Now, this is where it gets really, really odd. So here you can see my most recent video has 24 views and 6 comments and 6 likes, meaning that the engagement ratio is literally 25%, which is a better engagement ratio than Mr. Beast gets. If Mr. Beast gets 50 million views on a video, he might get a million likes. That's 2%. I'm literally getting 25% engagement on my videos, and YouTube is not recommending my videos to people. And here you can see that it's not recommending my videos to people. When you go to reach, it's only been shown, the thumbnail's been shown to only 220 people. And the click-through rate is 6.4%, which is, again, better than channels that get millions of views. YouTube is censoring my channel insanely. And I thought we were beyond this because for a while we started to increase in views, but we seem to be going back to this zone of like 30 views a video where it gets capped because YouTube doesn't show the channel to more people. Here's another example of that. This video is stuck at like 40 views, and again, like you can see, there's an incredible engagement ratio, like amazing. This one as well. Look at this, 4.1%. 21 views. Look, I'm not going to quit. I'm going to keep going. But what I'm doing here is I'm exposing overt evil. We are dealing with people who want to censor. Trump needs to force Google to stop censoring people because this is insane. And when people discover my channel en masse, as they inevitably will, they can watch videos like this and see how we persevered. And when I say we, I'm talking about me and the few people that loyally watch my videos to completion. So there's a reason why everyone on the left is mentally ill, depressed, that the things they say are incoherent, incongruent with objective reality, to say the least. I mean, we have somebody saying
It's like,
that they are
I
both
believe
libertarian and socialist when
with I, Karl Marx,
the
libertarian.
end of freedom and the end of liberty in practicing religion, the end of private property. The left is built on mental incoherence, and the people that are possessed by the left are all destroyed as well, all very destroyed. Wow. You can see the difference between this human right here that's standing next to the destroyed freak. He's very put together. He has a Trump 2024 shirt. You can tell he's able to think. Meanwhile, this unfortunate person is wearing a dog collar with a shirt that says "Don't mess with trans kids." The mental illness is overt. The war on humanity is overt, and the competent men are in charge. The degenerate female psyches are being held accountable. They're learning, but reality doesn't come naturally to somebody who's destroyed their mental pathways to sanity. And you can do that. You can practice insanity. Of course, this results in you suffering and living a life that's worse than what you could live. But there are people that are like this. I hope I've impressed upon you the need to understand what's happening. I've talked about the architecture of this ideological insanity, the architecture of the feminine personality, especially in many of my previous videos. So check that out. And if you want to support what I'm doing here, since YouTube has demonetized me, go to abrahambeier.locals.com, linked in the description. Scroll down and press become a member, where you can support what I'm doing here for less than the price of a coffee. It really makes a difference. One thing I'll probably leave this video on is something the internet's done to us, is it's made us able to witness everything going on in human civilization pretty much at all times. And as a result, the bell curve of activity has been widened. We're able to simultaneously observe the most impressive, competent men humanity has ever witnessed, and also the most mentally unwell, low IQ, destroyed, resentful people that humanity's ever bore witness to as well. And interestingly, we're able to see that the people that are the most cognitively destroyed are resentful of the most impressive men that civilization has borne witness to, and that they dedicate their existence to slandering and trying to tear down these impressive men rather than trying to strive forward. And that's how you get so many people on the left, like we're seeing. So many of the people on the left are on the side of the bell curve that is just totally mentally ravaged, unable to engage with reason. They've had their neural pathways of engaging in dialogue utterly revoked by their own activities and practicing this incoherence over and over again. And yet the ultra impressive competent men still seem to be working for the betterment of human civilization and the salvation of these deformed freaks as well. And that's interesting because that means that that's always been going on to some extent, even if subliminally, meaning within the psyche and not acted out. Now in America, you have the freedom to act out your disdain for ultra competent masculinity, and the only thing you get is, being ostracized. Whereas for most of human history, you would probably be put in jail. But now we get to see this interesting dichotomy, and we get to see that conditions of human existence are not equal. That you can destroy yourself with your choices. You can destroy yourself with the stories you tell yourself about people that have succeeded where you have failed, people who are strong where you are weak. This is extremely interesting. This creature that we are harbors the capability for such resentment that we can destroy ourselves and destroy civilization. And simultaneously, we hold the potential to be men like Elon Musk, like Donald Trump, like Andrew Tate, who can involuntarily save even those who detest and slander them, while operating at the pinnacle of masculine performance. And everything in between, obviously. But every person can be possessed by this drive to either strive for total destruction or salvation. It's very interesting, and the internet is showing this to us every single day. Now that the ultra competent men are in charge, you really can tell what's going on.